Hello, everyone, and welcome back to That Was Horror. Oh, yes?
Isaac!
Yes?
It's me!
It's Derek, what are you doing?
I've come from the future!
From the future? Is that where you disappeared to?
I came from the future to tell you
Uh-huh.
that you shouldn't watch this movie.
Why not? Why shouldn't I watch this movie?
Because you'll end up liking it.
Oh, no!
I think if you end up liking it, then it's not bad.
We can't...
And if you end up liking it bad, but oh wait, I don't have much time left.
No,
wait,
no, Derek, please
remember,
wait. There's so much I have to say.
Remember the Alamo.
I forgot the Alamo! Oh, hey, dude.
Oh, hey, guys.
Back.
Hey, what's up? Just had to go to the bathroom.
You didn't miss anything important. No, it
didn't?
was totally fine. You know what? It's not important. Hi, everyone. Welcome
Hey.
back to That Was Horrorble, the best,
Horrorble.
worst horror movie review podcast you know. Probably.
I don't know. I hit the table. I just think that I know a couple, and I enjoy the other ones more.
What? No.
Just kidding.
Is that because we were gone for a week? Is that what happened?
I feel so guilty.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you.
Thank you to our loyal listeners for tuning back in after our week hiatus there.
Yeah, really appreciate it if you've come back. And if you have, hello. And if you haven't, goodbye. I spent the last week forgetting that I had a podcast. and I've felt so guilty about that over the last few days. I actually met with the Pope.
Oh.
He has pardoned me of my sins.
Oh, okay. You were, what is it, admonished? Is that what was exonerated? Adorned.
I've been admissible. And after talking with the Pope, his name's Jimmy.
Oh,
after
Pope Jimmy.
After talking with Pope Jimmy, we've decided that I have to leave the podcast because he is mad at me for saying bad words.
Oh,
like one time
that'll probably do it.
One time I called him Jimmy, and his name was not actually Jimmy.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Which is a swear word in the eyes of our dear Lord and Savior, Pope
There was
Jimmy.
something between Jimmy Kimmel and the Pope. Is that anything?
What? Wait, what? Jimmy Kimmel's the Pope?
Jimmy Kimmel's the Pope.
Do we know if Jimmy Kimmel is actually like related?
Yeah, he's who plays the Pope in The Pope's Exorcist. They didn't spend a lot of time marketing for that one. It's all like Russell Crowe is the Pope's exorcist, but also Jimmy Kimmel is the Pope.
I thought Hugh Jackman played the Pope, and he stole a loaf of bread.
And sang a lot of it.
And then he sang a lot, and then Russell Crowe was like, "Why am I here?"
But truly, thank you for giving us a week break. We just had some very busy lives, and we also felt like, it was probably excusable solely because our last episode, our very special episode with special guest Lex Hogan, was great. It was 2 hours long, though. And there's a point, I feel like, in recording that where we're kind of like, this is great. This is good content. We got to keep it going. It's a special. This can happen, yeah.
And I kind of reached the point where I was like, we could let it go another 40 minutes and turn this into 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Or we could just stop and have had a great time.
Yeah, and I think it flowed really nice. And so, I hope you enjoyed our very special episode with that special guest. I still can't believe that actually happened.
No, yeah, it was incredible. She's so awesome.
I know, right? I'm like, I still feel like the same schmuck I was beforehand. I'm like, we just sit on the couch and watch movies.
And
so
she's back on set again. I saw her posting on Facebook.
Yes.
And I think that means she's in Belize. I think that's where she was going.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, because I made the joke that no one listened to.
That's how we remember.
I remember everything through jokes. Actually, I found my journal from when I was 10 years old.
What?
And every day was just a different knock-knock joke.
No.
But
can you give me any of these knock-knock jokes?
Yeah, so
right now?
Here, I'll find. January 10th, 2001. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Well, see, no one else was writing in the book, so all of them actually just say knock knock. But none of them
and go nowhere because nobody responded.
No one responded. There was one day where someone wrote "Who's there?" and I said, "Who is this?" And no one
Who is this? How did you find my journal?
So it was either my mom or my house was haunted.
That feels like it could be a premise for a story.
Something like
that, right? Because it could be like, is it like some actual person is walking up and writing in the journal, or is it like the journal itself is responding to you, right?
Journalnomicon.
At some point, we're gonna make our own horrible movie, right? This has to happen. I feel like that's like that's the pipeline we're on right now. It's like we watch a lot of bad horror movies, make a podcast about bad horror movies, have cool guests that know stuff to make a not bad horror movie. That one. And then make your own horror movie.
Make a bad movie.
Yeah, exactly. So one day.
And I feel like we really have to start. You either start in one of two places. You start with a great movie or you start with a really bad movie.
Yeah.
And then you get a horrible movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So
anyway, we actually I don't know if you knew this, listener, dear listener, who I just want to say, just real quick, without Isaac here, I love you so much. Like, thank you for listening to me talk all the time. Because I don't know how you do it, and I'm happy about it. Hey, but I enjoy listening to it too.
Hey, listener, I want to say
Isaac's here now
too. I love you too. Hey, I love the listeners as well. Thank you very much.
I just didn't want Isaac to get jealous.
Feeling very appreciative of the fact that people want to sit and listen to us do this thing. We like rest and recuperated. We did the math on it. We like counted how many days. It's been like 3 weeks since we recorded,
which is upsetting.
That's wild. I will never let it happen again.
No, I mean, and it's not like we were like, oh, we don't want to record it. Yeah, we really wanted to.
No, we enjoy it, and I was like very much looking forward to getting back here today.
It just was. It's been one heck of a May June. A May June.
So, Derek, can I tell them what movie we watched this week? Because this week we watched. Why are you laughing at me? This week we watched 13 Ghosts.
What? No, you're saying it wrong. It's Thir13.
Exactly. No, that's why I did that stupid bit, because it's Thir13en. Thir13en. Thir13en Ghosts is what we watched.
I don't think I've ever spelt this right.
No, it looks stupid, but like every time I look at it, I think 13 Ghosts. 13 Ghosts.
Hello and 13th Ghost.
Not the take from 1960, yes. But the take from 2001.
2001.
Yes.
Which was
like what, William Castle did that first
41 years.
Mm-hmm. To the date. In the year of our Lord Ghost Ship, it was 2001. Is this really the same year?
It was 2002.
Okay.
But it was the same director.
What?
Which I had forgotten. Isaac had remembered. Mm-hmm. And then I had like a crazy moment. I was like, Isaac, never believe it. This is the same director as Ghost Ship. And I was just like, Derek, yeah, we know. We talked about it.
We talked about this. It happened. But then also, like, I'll admit, we sat down for that movie and like you reminded me of that, and I was like, oh, we might be in for a good time.
Yeah, because Ghost Ship was a good time.
Yeah, while it wastes a lot of time throughout it with their useless meetings throughout, it's like, that was I had a fun time, so I was looking forward to it.
Anyway, so let's get started. Let's just jump right into it.
Let's go.
This is what we always do, right?
Yep.
We're trying to get our bearings back. It's like we're episode 1 again.
Yeah.
We watched Slender Man 2, Rise of Slender Man.
Rise of Slender Man, 2 slender, 2 man. 2 slender.
All right, our sources for today's episode were IMDb, Wikipedia, as always. I also used that one thing that I'm getting to
Jump
right.
Scare.
No. Dang it! I didn't write it down.
It's somewhere.
Dang it! It's the jump scares one that I always use, and the death count one that I always use. Just like if
for accurate sources, just go back to previous episodes where we've mentioned.
Just. So when this is in court, and they're like, Derek, you didn't source this episode.
You didn't source this episode,
It
Derek,
was in other episodes.
30 years in the federal prison.
Wait. Is that why I saw a bus outside that said from the future prison?
No, that was nothing. I think you're hallucinating again. You were just like really groggy from your nap.
Weird. I didn't take a nap today.
So.
Okay, so yes, we watched 13 Ghosts 2001, not to be mistaken for 13 Ghosts 1060. 1960. Thank you. 2001.
Yes.
So this was directed by Steve Beck. It was written by Neil Marshall Stevens and Richard D'Ovidio.
Wow. D'Ovidio. Wow.
It is based.
That's a name.
D'Ovidio. What if his named his son? Man, I'm on tangents like crazy today. What if he named his son Richard II D-O-DVD? Instead of D'Ovidio.
Yeah, much more popular than his younger brother, Richie CD-ROM.
And then his nephew, Richard the 15th D-O Blu-ray.
Blu-ray, you're going the other way.
You also got Beta. Betamax. Cassette.
Richard DVHS.
DVHS. Wait, video is VHS though.
Well,
video killed VHS.
What did the HS stand for in video? VHS.
Video hydraulic
home
overture.
System. Yes.
VHO?
No, I don't know. What are your? Do we need Science Jim to tell us what VHS stands for?
Probably, but he'll come back later. In like 3 seconds.
Oh, yep, come on in. Science Jim. Yep, there you are.
It's been so long, you haven't fed me at all. I've been locked in the cupboard.
What happened to your voice, Science Jim?
I've been locked in the cupboard for 3 weeks. I don't remember what I sound like.
Derek, I told you to feed him.
Well, he's just been sitting. All right, you ask what VHS? Oh, yes, VHS is a standard consumer-level audio analog video recording on tape cassettes. It stands for...
Yes, what does it stand for? Yes.
Video Home System.
Okay, so I was right. I think that was one of the things I said. Yeah, get on out of there.
I don't think that was the same guy.
No, I think that was someone impersonating. Maybe this is his playground to try out different characters with us. Yeah. He's like, is this anything? I don't know.
Science Jim, figure out something better. Okay, so Neil Marshall Stevens, he was one of the writers of this movie. Mm-hmm. He hasn't really done too much other things. He's done 49 things.
Okay, so that sounds like a couple things.
Yeah, but I don't know any of them. And maybe I should, and I'm sorry. But he has some things that I'm very interested in watching. Like Frankenstein and the Werewolf Reborn!
Reborn, wow.
Which is great.
Incredible.
Oh, I get it. It's actually two different movies on one compact
Frankenstein
VHS.
And the Werewolf Reborn.
Yeah, so it's Frankenstein Reborn, period, and the Werewolf Reborn, !
Strange,
so
strange
who
times.
He liked a little bit more. He also did Hellraiser Deader. Which I think...
Hellraiser Deader. 2005.
I think that this Dimension Films... Oh, wait, hold on. Is this one we get to watch for the podcast,
this is
maybe?
Incredible.
One day?
Maybe
this looks very bad.
For your birthday, maybe if you're lucky.
My birthday was 2 weeks ago. Dang it, we didn't watch this.
Next time, next year.
Anyway, he's kind of just it seems like he basically just writes bad movies.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, bad is a harsh word.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like he watches...
Lower budget, not as popular.
Yes.
We can use
rough
proper terminology for this, right?
Yeah. Poorly reviewed.
Or
not reviewed for very
not
specific reasons.
Yes, exactly.
The other writer, who I haven't talked about yet, because I have to click on his name, he was also Richard D'Ovio. Oh, wait, yeah, we just riffed on his name for 40 minutes.
Never said anything about him.
He's done much less. He's only done 8 things.
That's much less.
He did do The Call from 2013, which I remember when that movie came out, and it was just really bad. It's that Halle Berry.
Seeing the advertisements for that one. I never actually caught that one.
Not to be confused with Halle Berry.
Halle
Berry, who just played Mermaid.
Yeah.
Mermaid.
Disney presents Mermaid.
Well, she wasn't very... She's just a person. She's not small.
I guess you're right.
When I hear Little Mermaid, I want Tinkerbell size.
That's true.
Where does
that title come from? She's just a mermaid. Why is she little?
I don't know. It's kind of demeaning, though.
Yeah, that's strange. But now I kind of want to see a different take on that movie where she's actually tiny, a little mermaid.
So he finds something in the sand.
Yeah, Prince I want to see her the size of an actual fish, and he has to carry her around.
And she's like, just kiss me, I'll come and be your size.
He's like, I don't know about that. I think I could kill you with that. My lips would suffocate you.
Oh.
So sad. That's probably why they scrapped that idea, but they kept the name because it's just catchier. If they just said mermaid, and that's not quite as catchy.
Somewhere out there on his bed is sitting this man, and he's just arms crossed. He's really, really old. Grandpa, what's wrong? Well, I had the greatest idea for Little Mermaid, and they wouldn't take it. They said that she would die if he kissed her, and I was the best idea for a movie I've ever had. Grandpa,
all right,
it's okay.
Grandpa, come on, let's get you back to the nursing home.
I wrote Little Mermaid. Prince Eric was 40 feet tall. That's what I got.
They had a kaiju fight between Prince Eric and Ursula.
Yeah. The crabs were all bigger than Little Mermaid, so they're picking her up by her hand,
that's pretty
throwing
good,
her around.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway,
I like that.
This bit's over. Rob White is a very famous writer. He had written this story way back when. He wrote the original one. He also wrote House on the Haunted Hill. He did a bunch of Perry Mason, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So we love him. We're grateful for him. We're sorry that people keep adapting your stuff poorly.
Sorry, that your adaptations end up on our podcast.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so then 13 Ghosts, 2001, was also nominated for 4 things and won. One thing.
Okay, wow. I mean, hey, that's 25%. Pretty good.
That math. I'm so proud of you. Oh wait, actually, it had 5 nominations. Holy cow!
5 nominations. Don't make me do the math. I can't do the math on that. 1 out of 4 is easy. I can't do anything.
Something.
So what was it nominated for?
So the Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films USA nominated it for Best Horror Film.
Okay.
In 2002, Golden Trailer Awards had the Golden Fleece Award, which I didn't look into.
No.
Fangoria Chainsaw Awards.
Yeah.
Best Makeup Creature Effects and Worst Film.
Okay. Wow.
Which is so funny to see those two on like the same.
I mean, that's fair. Some movies can have really great designs and like practical effects, but then like the movie kind of sucks.
And that's actually what it won. So it won Best Makeup Creature Effects, which honestly, after seeing the movie, checks out.
Very good.
There were only a couple times where I was like, but most of the time I thought it was great. Spoilers.
Yeah, I can't tell, Brian.
The Stinkers Bad Movie Awards.
The what?
The Stinkers Bad Movie.
Bad Movie
Not
Awards.
Snickers, not Sneakers. The Stinkers Bad Movie Awards nominated Shannon Elizabeth for Worst Supporting Actress.
Oh, no.
This is so sad because it looks like she's been nominated for this award 4 times.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Shannon.
Wait, I have to look and make sure that that's true.
Shannon, no.
She has been nominated 4 times. No.
That's awful.
She's also been nominated for Most Annoying Fake Accent.
Oh, that's hilarious.
But then MTV nominated for her for Breakthrough Female Performance.
Okay.
For the same role.
Wow.
I don't know. She's also known for American Pie, American Pie 2, Jay and Silent Bob,
and then
a bunch of other things. Actually, I think she's still doing stuff.
For real?
Yeah. 2020, she did Playing with Beethoven.
Everyone a famous blockbuster film of 2020, Playing with Beethoven.
Wait, you didn't see Playing with Beethoven?
No, yeah, I loved it. It was my favorite.
Hold on, let me look at what it is.
Movie. Oh, no, we can't be looking at this.
This is too
There's
wholesome.
People romantically laying on top of a pink piano. I don't understand what's happening.
That's Schroeder's piano.
What is...
look at the way that guy's playing.
We gotta get off this.
So
get back
I'm
on
jumping
track.
on this train later. Everyone go watch Playing with Beethoven. Or whatever it was called.
So that's what it was nominated for.
Yes.
Quite a few things.
And honestly, all those check out.
Yeah.
I'm right there with it. I just closed out all of my tabs because you distracted me. All right. So the Rotten Tomatoes score for this movie was 18. The audience score was 49. Was it 18? I thought that I read that it was... okay.
18's right.
18's right. The Metacritic score was 30.
Yeah, but the audience score pretty high.
6.0 for Metacritic audience, which is... We're seeing a big difference between the audience score and the the critics. So, I mean, time changes things, right?
Yeah.
Time changes opinions. Letterboxd is a 2.7. Again, fairly high. IMDb, 5.7. I mean, there's an episode of Breaking Bad that's probably 5.7.
Probably 5.7, right? So, like, that's the kind of scale that we're working on.
That's very wrong. They're all very high. The budget for this movie was $42 million.
Wow.
And it grossed $68 million.
Wow.
It made $26 million. Good work.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Go team.
All right, let's read some reviews.
Sure thing. You want to start us out?
I would love to, but I closed out my tab. So let's riff on something.
No,
Do you got anything to riff on? I mean, we could pause it and
I can
start
talk
again.
No, I can talk about I think I remember reading, you mentioned how it made like it made more than it actually cost to film, right?
Yeah.
But they actually did end up losing money because of like the marketing of it and all that kind of stuff, like the fees it costs to put a movie out there and advertise for it and stuff. So they did actually end up losing money. So
okay, good. I feel better.
this is actually considered a box office flop in their eyes.
It's a flop.
Yep. Let's see. So William Thomas, one of the top critics from Empire magazine, says, Director Beck discards Castle's signature cheeky verve, saddling the film with a poor script rife and hilarious exposition, a literally painful sound design, and uniformly bad acting.
Oof. Mark Savlov of Austin Chronicle, top critic, says it wounds William Castle's inspired body of work to foist remakes of the substandard caliber on the man's name. 1 out of 5.
Yikes. And then here's a more positive one from Joe Layden from Variety. Beck maintains a satisfyingly high level of heebie-jeebies throughout.
Aw.
Yeah, I can get with that.
Here's one that I thought was interesting. Allison Rose of Flick Direct says, it's a positive review.
Okay.
Shaloub is well suited to portray Arthur, a lost widower trying to deal with his pain while taking care of his children.
Huh? Yeah.
I just was surprised to see a call out.
No, that's good.
Mr.
No, I'm with that.
Shaloub.
Shall we discuss our expectations?
No.
No? Oh, okay. Well, then I will. I'll
Yeah, you go for it.
So we watched the trailer for this one beforehand. This was actually one of our choices that for the special with Lex Hogan, we were considering watching this one before we ended up with the hilarious Howling 3. So we watched it a while back, then we watched it again, just like to refresh our brains. So for me, my expectations were good makeup work on the different ghosts. Clearly, I was expecting at least 13 of them, right? So I'm like, they have to be pretty distinct. And I was expecting some good makeup work just based on what I'd seen and what I know about it. But the ones showcased in the trailer will be the coolest ones of it, right? My second expectation was I'll like the different ghosts, but we won't get enough about their lore. I feel like they'll be, just based on what I saw in the trailer, I'm like, that's a full character, and I don't think we're going to get to know anything about you or how you died. We're just going to have to make speculations about it, right? I expected that at a certain point we'll be getting more than one ghost at a time to save time. Because I was expecting like maybe it'd start out as like, one ghost, then another, and then it'd be like, a double event that would happen, right? Just because like we can't just slowly go at a pace of one ghost at a time, right?
Of course not.
And then I felt like this will feel like a 2000s movie. I was expecting like the acting, the dialogue, the music especially. I was like, this is going to feel like it's from the 2000s for sure.
For sure.
And then my final expectation was that these ghosts will mostly be spooky looking people and not act like actual ghosts.
Yeah.
I figured they would just be like more of a serial killer type than do anything actually like supernatural and paranormal.
Okay. Yeah.
So
mine are 13 stories that are really cool, but ultimately let down by not knowing anything about them, right? So basically the same as yours. Like, again, we see these ghosts in the trailer, like, oh, that guy, something happened to him. He didn't just become a ghost overnight. Well, maybe.
Well.
Tony Shalhoub being cringy and having a weak performance. I only know him. I mean, he's done a lot of stage work. He's a great, fantastic actor. This just didn't seem like his home.
He's Monk.
Right? He's Monk.
That's literally all I know him from.
Yeah, but he's also like a great actor.
Yes.
Like I've watched some of his performances and he's just incredible.
But you were expecting this to not live up.
But I didn't feel like this fit him. I felt like he was going to be put into a position where he wasn't familiar with that kind of like acting.
Yeah.
He didn't know how to be a ghost dad. He knew how to be a sad widow.
Yeah.
Which, worked out for him. Really cheesy effects. That's just it. A movie that doesn't follow its own rules.
Oh, interesting.
That's
pretty good.
I feel like in these kind of movies, they always establish weird rules about the ghosts. Like, for example, we knew going in that this movie, they had these glasses. That's the only way you could see the ghost.
Yes.
So I was expecting that kind of, they had these weird rules that they set up and then they didn't follow their own rules.
Yep.
Really forced jump scares because it's a ghost movie from the 2000s. So of course there's going to be so many jump scares
all over the place with it.
So that's me. Let's jump in. Oh man, we're here.
We made it. We finally started. And I'll start by giving no. This is the best part. This is the best part. We gotta keep going. We must. So I'll start us out by giving the quote from the trailer, which was so funny and stupid. I made a joke about it while we were watching the trailer, and it ended up being the quote. Because the quote starts by saying, the only thing worse than being trapped in a house with a ghost, and then it goes like a long pause. And I finished the quote before actually knowing it was actually this. It says, is being trapped in a house with 13 ghosts. I'm like, that is the dumbest tag for a movie you could possibly come up with.
It's great.
The only thing worse than being trapped in a house with a ghost is being trapped in a house with 13.
But you gotta say it right because it was from the 2000s, right? So it looked like one of those commercials or the stealing car. The only thing worse was being trapped inside of a house with a ghost. Is being trapped in a house with 13.
That's it, yeah.
That's it.
We should make trailers. We should not make movies. We'll start there. The next step is making trailers for Horrorble movies. So we'll make a fake trailer for a fake movie, and then we'll move on.
And we already know how. We just have to show all of the cool effects in the trailer, and we have to make the trailer like 4 minutes long for some reason.
Yeah, show basically the entire plot
and show the entire plot of the movie. And there has to be a house burning at the end.
Yeah, and then we have to use
pretty much every single movie.
Have to use that "you wouldn't steal a car" font.
The only thing worse than being stuck in this movie is not seeing this movie at all. Put that in all of them.
All right, so we start immediately with a Dutch angle. You're flying backwards in this junkyard, harsh Dutch angle going on. It's a spooky looking junkyard. I actually kind of thought I thought the set looked pretty cool, but then there was it seemed like Chekhov's dangling car, and I just wrote, I hope someone doesn't get squished by that car. Ooh. And from this first scene, I was like, this movie looks too expensive to be on this podcast. Like, it looks like a lot of money.
$43 million must be a record.
Yeah, that definitely checks out. But then some cars start rolling up to this place, and there's like some weird cult symbol on the side of the car. It's like an eyeball-looking thing with some weird lines throughout it. I forgot about that. Very strange. So, like, everybody's all showing up, and then they're all setting up shop, and I'm like, are they gonna... I thought they were going to, like, blow up the junkyard or something. It looks kind of strange.
Yeah, it was really weird.
And then, here's Old Man Jenkins and his jalopy because this, like, old-ass car comes up.
It's Old Man, what, Silas? What is his name?
Cyrus, I think
Cyrus,
is his name?
Old Man Cyrus.
Old Man Cyrus comes up. So, yeah, he's played by a guy whose
F.
name...
Murray Abraham.
Yeah, that's the name. That's the guy.
Is it, actually?
Yeah,
it is.
Yes,
okay.
F. Murray Abraham. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
You know him, you love him.
Yeah, this right off the bat, we've got great actors in this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, Matthew Lillard gets out of the car. We've got F. Murray Abraham with Tony Shalhoub. And then no one can forget about 4-time Worst Actress winner Shannon Elizabeth.
So yes, old man Cyrus walks out of this car with Matthew Lillard next to him, and he's got the sight. He gets out of the car and immediately starts like having this like, whoa, headache. He's like pushed up against the car. He's like, oh man, this place is dangerous. We should get out of here, in my professional opinion. He's basically Lillard.
We find out pretty quick that he's a psychic.
Yeah.
And he can like see visions.
Yeah, there's like
stuff.
he says he hears them in his head. There's someone in his head. I think he can see people, and like if he touches the ground, he gets like wild flashes of like the people who have died and are buried here.
And so this happens throughout the entire movie. He'll like get these like weird flashes. And how I want you to picture this is imagine someone trying to do a Cosmo Kramer impression. Very bad. like the worst Kramer from Seinfeld that you could possibly imagine is what Matthew Lillard does every time he does. He's either doing the old man, oh my back, or Jerry.
Oh yeah, he's shaking with it, falls up against something. Yeah, but yeah, so he gets these like wild images, and like that's how we get it too. It's just like in really quick flashes of like red images all over the screen.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
it's kind of very disconcerting.
It's kind of a lot. I think I remember reading a trivia thing that I didn't include that was like there were complaints about like the strobe effects in it, lots of flashing lights and flashing images all over the place.
Makes sense.
So yeah, but there was some Raimi-esque camera work. There's a bit where like clearly what must be the spirit ghost thing was like going through down low to the ground with a handheld camera looking really cool. You know, like that running effect you get in Evil Dead. I thought that was kind of neat. I wrote the dialogue is quite corny, but I'm having a good time so far. Like I was kind of in it from the start. I'm like, no, I don't. I'm here. I'm enjoying it so far.
It wasn't the like traditional like kind of cringy beginning.
Yes,
it was actually pulling me in pretty quick.
Yeah, and it seems like this director is able to like nail his opening sequences, right? Because
absolutely.
Same thing with Ghost Ship.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Killer opening. Literally. But I was a little confused about what was happening. There was so much going on. There were these people rolling up in cars. Old Man Cyrus is coming up with Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. and then they're setting something up. He's talking about the ghost. He's like, whoa, what's going on here? This person, I thought you said this guy murdered like 8 people. He's like, he murdered 8 people when he was alive.
Ooh.
Yeah, and then suddenly another Sigourney Weaver lookalike pops in.
Oh my goodness.
She's got her and her buddy pop up, and they're like, well, you can't be capturing these ghosts, because that's what we find out they're doing. They're here to capture the spirit of a ghost, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And so she gets upset about that. She's like, no, you can't. She's basically like the Freedom Corps for ghost soul. I don't know. It's very strange. But
she's like trying PETA for ghosts.
Yeah, but she's trying to stop them. And so, gosh, it's already so hard to like keep track of it.
She walks in. She just holds up a like little TV. You wouldn't steal a ghost.
You wouldn't steal a ghost. But yeah, Shaggy here, Matthew Lillard, he mentions that he was contracted for 12 ghosts for some reason. I'm not sure why. He was like, I was only contracted for 12 ghosts. Now you're telling me there's 13? And
that number checks out.
And then Old Man Cyrus is like, oh, well, I have one more. There's a secret 13th ghost. He's like weirdly cheeky about it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That was dumb.
But yeah, so they've got this big box that it looks like it's like this box made out of just glass, right? And that's where like, okay, they're going to trap the ghost in there. And in order to use bait to get the ghost in there, they drive a semi-truck through the junkyard and just spray blood everywhere.
And this part happened so quick. I thought that a ghost was driving this truck and making blood spew everywhere. Would have been cooler.
Yeah.
But they're like, no.
But they're straight up just like, how do you pull out the soul of a serial killer? You bring out his candy, bring out the
Let me lick these trucks.
Yeah. What do they think? Is he going to get on the ground and like lick the trail all the way to the box? Ooh, trail of candy.
Ooh, piece of candy. Yes. Ooh, piece of blood. Ooh, piece of blood.
Piece of blood. It's kind of weird. But they have special glasses for seeing the ghosts, which I thought was kind of neat because actually today I watched the original, the 1960 version of the movie. And that is one of the few things that they keep from it. Because in the old one, they also do the same gimmick, right? You can't see the ghost unless you have these special glasses. So they have a similar thing. And then the ghost shows up and it's just flinging bodies all over the place. This guy is tough. He's real strong. And I kind of enjoy that, like, you can only see the ghost in glimpses of it because it kind of goes back and forth between people who have the glasses on and people who do not, because there's only a few of them that have the glasses on in the scene. But so yeah, there's some shots where it's just like a person randomly flies across the screen, and then there's some bits where you see a person actually lift someone. This ghostly looking dude kind of just looks like a corpse, really.
Yeah, he's just like a zombie man.
But yeah, he's taking them all off. But there was a wild kill where a dude gets pulled, he gets thrown into the wall and then pulled into it from the waist, so he bends in half backwards.
Yeah,
that was like the crunching noise. Ooh, that was pretty good though.
I will say, watching stuff like that in movies makes me feel like my back could pop.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, that looks like it would feel great on the spine. Like sometimes you just got to get split in half by a car.
Yeah. It's like, you ever seen those like medieval torture machines where they have them tied by the hands and feet and pull them? Yeah. And it's like, like
Gonzo.
Yes, exactly. There has to be like 5 seconds where that feels like incredible, right?
I'm assuming it's more than 5 seconds.
Probably a little while,
Muppets
right?
If Muppets taught me anything.
Yeah, your arms will stretch out beyond proportion.
And it will feel great.
Yes. Yeah.
Your arms will not get ripped from your body, I swear.
How long do you think it'll be before somebody tries to recreate that today and try to sell it? You think that exists now? I guarantee that it probably already exists for sure. But like for comfort, not as a torture device. And it like they've done the math and they know we'll go further than that.
One man's torture device is another man's comfort.
How much is one of those like old stretch like torture machines? Like how can we craft one of these?
Don't tell me we're on Family Feud. That's not the right one. Mm-hmm. What's the game? Guess the price.
Yeah, the price is right.
Price is right. I'm gonna say for the refrigerator that it's $2,000.
Well, now I'm on Etsy, and it's a lot of like. It's a lot of just like,
you can't look at that on
this
podcast.
This is not what I wanted.
It's
a lot of people.
You can't look at that on
positions. Podcast. Wow. Okay. Here we go.
Whoa. Hey. Well. Anyway,
it's called a torture rack, is what it's called.
That's a lame name.
It's just kind of lame, right?
One man's torture rack is another man's
like
bed.
the ultimate stretcher 5,000.
Hey, that one's only $80.
Yeah, but that's just a 1/6 size.
I could fit on that. Okay, anyway.
Where were we? We got so sidetracked there.
Back pain.
Dude got snapped in half. So the ghost chases one of the guys into the glass box, and then they lock the dude in there with him. So he dies pretty heavily, right? Yeah. He gets thrown around and thrashed in that box.
But he had a great time.
But the ghost is trapped, and you're like, oh yeah, cool. Oh yeah. At some point, also the car did fall, but didn't actually crush anybody.
Yeah, which was really disappointing.
Yeah, it was kind of leading you up to something that never ended up happening. But so we find out. The ghost caused a lot of havoc. Cyrus died. He got decapitated.
It was a kind of a gruesome shot.
Yeah, it's like, so first actually we find out that Sigourney Weaver's partner, he died. He got by the ghost somehow. He died somehow. I can't remember. And then she's like, Cyrus, you asshole, where are you? Then the camera pans over and he is just like a big sheet of metal is through his neck. He's sitting there dead-eyed, like, oh shit, he got.
Which is the opposite of what I always say in movies.
Yeah.
I always say if you didn't see the corpse, they're not dead.
Mm-hmm.
This time you see the corpse, you don't see him die.
Yeah, it's true.
Is it the same methodology though?
Yeah. Just
you don't
reverse.
see him die.
In the inverse.
So then he's not dead, but you see him die.
He looks pretty dead to me.
Well, yeah, he got his head cut off, but you get my point, right?
So then we come into the opening sequence, the title, the opening credits roll, and suddenly we're in a different movie.
Yep.
We're in a Hallmark movie. I was very confused.
We jumped to a very early episode of Monk.
Yeah, exactly. Where he's sitting there out with his family. His 2 kids are out in the backyard. They're having a great time. And then it slowly pans around the room, like kind of in a complete 360.
Yeah.
And we get like continued dialogue about like, oh, I love my family. It's so great. Oh, Dad, you're the best. Oh, no. Wait, the house is on fire.
Wait, is Mom still inside?
Mom's inside. Oh, no. The doctor says she's not going to make it. Oh, no. Dad, come on. We have to go to the funeral.
We gather here today to remember Monk's
What do you mean we have to sell the house? Now we live in the shitty apartment? So we did it. We were kind of joshing about it a bit, but it was actually a really good...
It was awesome.
I really enjoyed it a lot.
Shot.
Because at first, we were equally confused. We're like, what the hell is happening? Why is this like a happy, like, nice movie now? And then it slowly turns dark and got very dark. You know, we hear about all the things we were joking about, right? Like the house catches fire, the wife dies, they lose it all, basically, right? And it was kind of terrible, but like, and then when the pan around the room finishes, they're in a different space, their new apartment, and they see the photograph from the beginning is like all charred and burned. It was so cool.
I would love to sit down with Steve Beck, the director, and just ask him a question, because this movie so far has wasted none of our time.
Yeah.
And as we move along the movie, you'll find it did not waste any time with anything.
Mm-mm.
There were almost, I wish it would have wasted more time. But then you look back at Ghost Ship.
Yes.
By the same guy that wasted probably 40 minutes.
Honestly,
of that hour
could have been
movie.
a much shorter movie.
Right. And I want to just ask him, like, you did so well with not wasting my time with 13 Ghosts. Why?
Yeah.
What happened?
Because, this movie just keeps going. It keeps moving.
It hits 10 and it kind of just stays there.
It stays there, on a constant. It's pretty great, though. I do, like, it has great pacing in this movie.
Yeah, no, it was good.
Yeah. So then we meet his family. His little boy, his name is Bobby. He's kind of fucked up. He's like sitting there recording himself on his little tape recorder, reading murder headlines. It's like the world's first true crime podcast.
Yeah, it was so cute. He's like, he's having a great time just recording his voice.
Yeah, it's cute.
Radio.
I kind of enjoy it. So it's him. It's Monk, his son Bobby. They have a daughter as well, who's like old, probably an adult age. Shannon Elizabeth, yes, a 4-time nominee for worst actress. And then they also have like a nanny, which doesn't make sense.
Oh, I forgot she existed.
Because it's like, if you lost everything, you're living in the shitty apartment, why would you then hire like a babysitter? That's such a strange concept to me.
And she was a rapper.
Yes, rapper turned actress, who I think started in rap, did 1, maybe 2 roles. I know one of them she played herself in one of the movies.
Rashia Fisher.
And then never did another movie after that.
Yeah.
She actually did a song for this movie too called Mirror Mirror.
And I'm wondering,
which plays in the credits at the end.
I wonder, and I'll have to ask Count Trivia when he comes by later, if okay, wait, this is really funny. Okay, so she...
I like when you preface your own bits with, this is going to be so funny.
Shut up. No. Okay. No, so she only did 1 movie. And I have a theory. She was on the set and she was like, "Okay, guys, I wrote this song for you. You have to put it in the movie. But one caveat. I really want to be an actress. Daddy said I'd be on the big screen. Put me in this movie." And they're like, "Okay, sure." And then she has a quote, there's a quote section on IMDb.
Yeah.
Her only quote is, "I write my own rhymes."
Wow. Incredible.
That's the only quote. Okay, I'm gonna laugh about this.
I write my own rhymes.
It's so funny.
So yeah, they hired a nanny. Her name is Maggie, and like, she's doing fine. She belongs in a different movie. I would compare the type of acting she's giving us to like Scary Movie kind of acting.
Yeah. Oh,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
Like her and the Scary Movie franchise.
Her and the daughter. And I mean, it's fitting because whatever Shannon Elizabeth, she was in Scary Movie.
Yes,
so
exactly.
It's like,
so that makes sense for her. But this actress, like, she is giving us as like those weird, like, you're acting like you're in a horror movie, but you keep making these quips and like trying to funny bits, to take away from it all. Yeah, it feels like that kind of like early 2000s, like the Scary Movies get kind of raunchy or kind of humor, that kind of stuff. She wasn't very raunchy, but like, that's kind of...
But she was the raunchiest of
Yes, exactly. But she kept making like weird quips in the movie that felt kind of serious beforehand. Like, it felt like it was taking itself more seriously. Then she shows up as making jokes about the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
So you find out this is their family dynamic. It's a little rough, they're all crammed into this tiny apartment. They're struggling. They lost it all because of the fire. Then some suit shows up to the apartment. Some lawyer type, right? And then he welcomes himself in, pulls up this like really old looking laptop. Like the effects on this laptop are really funny. It's like so dated. It makes me laugh.
And he looks like if Michael Fassbender like just never woke up. Do you know what I mean? Like if Michael Fassbender went to sleep.
Took like 1,000-year nap.
Yeah.
Forever.
And then I don't know how to do it. It's just, he looks so weird.
Yeah. So they find out that Cyrus, the man who died at the beginning, he is actually Monk's uncle. What is Monk's actual name?
Munkle?
Munkle? He was the Munkle.
He's Munkle.
So he finds out he's his
Arthur.
uncle, Arthur. They find out Arthur's uncle was Cyrus. He's dead now. They didn't know that. He didn't even know that he was still around, you know? But so he finds out that he's alive. They give him this key, this really weird looking, like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like, all of the stuff looks like hieroglyphic kind of style. It's very strange, like very straight lines.
It's like kind of
weird,
Egyptian.
like labyrinth style. I don't know how else to describe it. They give him a key. And so it's like, I leave you, everything. You are my sole beneficiaries after this. This is my last will and testament, right? They're showing him a video of what's going to happen. So they win a house.
You win a
Hooray,
house.
yay. And
You get a house. And you get a house.
You get a house. And
you, F. Murray Abraham.
You get a glass house that's completely made out of windows. So, they, also Derek mentioned here, the way the music is being utilized thus far makes it feel like it's an NBC special.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It really did, though.
Really, though? Like we're watching, what was it, NCIS, or is that what you said?
That's what it felt like, and it's also how it was filmed.
Yeah.
Like, the way the camera moves is very reminiscent of, like, a procedural cop show from the early 2000s.
And that's another thing. I guess that's something that those TV shows tend to have, is, like, pretty decent pacing. It's like, you just move from bit to bit, right?
I wonder if they're related.
Maybe. Who knows? You also mentioned, like, I think we were both talking about how, like, we want some kind of Scooby-Doo ending, like, unmask the ghosts at the end, and it's Old Man Cyrus. Old Man Cyrus. He's like, who else but Harry Benjamin, or what's his name?
What?
What's up?
Hold the freaking phone. Do you know about this? Does Count Trivia know about this?
This is nothing. I don't know anything about this.
Are you being serious?
This is, yeah.
James Gunn helped write this movie.
Did additional writing. Uncredited, too. That's very interesting.
I mean, he probably did that on purpose. What?
Wow, that tracks,
Maybe
honestly.
he came in and was like, okay, you guys, this movie's too long, too many moments of everyone just sitting around talking. Cut those out, just leave the action. And maybe we have James Gunn to thank.
You're right.
Anyway, sorry, that I thought that was
cool. No, I was getting something very sad. No, I'm getting very serious here, okay?
Oh, is it?
Who else but Old Man Cyrus? I went and got decapitated, and now you guys can have my house.
What just happened? Oh my god! Incredible.
So we get a quick scene of the discount Sigourney Weaver again. She's back in her super messy office, and she's just got a drawer with like dynamite in it.
Yeah.
And she's just loading up. I don't know where she thinks she's going, but like, it's very strange to me. And then we see the house. So the family makes it to the house with the lawyer, whose name was like something. We called him Mr. Moss was his name. The house looks like the building version of like the puzzle box from Hellraiser.
Yeah, it really does, and it kind of acts like it too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're very similar in many ways. Like the intricate lines and circles on it. The designs look kind of similar in my opinion.
It's like they watched Hellraiser and was like, "What if you lived in that?
Mm-hmm. What if you lived in that?" Someone saw that box, like, "I want to live in that.
I want to live in there. I want to be a Cenobite.
I'm going to make that my house." So all of the walls and windows, or all the walls are windows with writing on them. So like there are not any actual solid walls. They're all glass. And then Matthew Lillard is here, and he's dressed in this orange jumpsuit, talking about how like, "Oh yeah, man, I got the power out in this house. You gotta let me in."
Hurts.
Yeah, gotta let me into this house so I can switch the power back on. And the lawyer's like, "Can't you just do this tomorrow?" He's like, "Yeah, let me check. I got my clipboard here. Got like 57,000 houses to get to."
It's my first couple weeks on the job.
That's gonna be a no for me.
Oh, Scoop, let me into the house, man.
Oh, Scoop, you gotta let me in the house. So Arthur's nice. He's like, "Hey, man, listen, yeah, this is my new house now, so I would like power. So sure, yeah, come on in."
Sure.
And
Arthur's a nice guy.
I actually wasn't entirely sure. Like, he is lying, right? He wants to get in this house for a different reason.
Absolutely.
So they put the crazy looking key into the lock, and then when they turn it in, some doomsday counter starts when they put it. Yeah. Like, it was kind of funny.
That actually happens every time I open my house door.
Yeah, you have to be really careful to not put it in like the self-destruct slot.
Yeah,
there are two keyholes.
And you may notice that I always relock the door from the outside.
Otherwise, the house will blow up.
And then I just stay outside forever because if I never... Yeah, you get it. This bit's over. Keep going.
So yeah, I wrote this. I was like, I'm calling it now. That machine is going to release a ghost like every hour because on the inside it's like there's a little pendulum clock thing counting, but there were also like 12 distinct clocks in there. I'm like, okay, so it's like it'll go, there will be a ghost released every hour, something like that, right?
And again, this is just another thing that would make a great D&D puzzle, man.
Yeah, that's true.
Like all the time, everything's just D&D.
Yeah, Glass House, release a ghost every hour, sounds kind of cool.
Kind of dope.
I'm kind of into it.
Forget about it. I'm gonna do it next D&D.
There we go. I've already forgotten. What are we talking about? You want to talk about? There's a microphone. Hello.
Does the microphone talk to you?
So they're inside the house now. Matthew Lillard, he's putting on a good shtick. Like he's putting up like. His performance to them about how he's looking for the power box and stuff like that is fairly believable, honestly. There were just some lines that he said, I'm like, I would believe that, actually. Like were it not for the fact that I know what he's actually doing here, like I know he has some other purpose, I would actually believe him. But so they get in the house, and it's like, okay, Daddy's got to go sign some papers now to like make this house legally ours, right? And he's like, family, don't fuck it up. Don't touch anything.
Don't touch
Stay
anything.
right here. The house is made of glass. I will see you do something. Except he doesn't because they all leave.
And they all start touching things.
Yeah, exactly.
Like immediately.
Yeah, it's funny. The kids look at the nanny, and even the nanny's like, oh boy, here we go.
Boy,
fun new house. Yeah, exactly. So they all go running, and they just split up. They go their own ways. The daughter goes her own way. Maggie and Bobby, the kid, go off their own way too. They all do.
This house is not practical.
No.
And I understand that this house is actually Hellraiser box and it's built to like contain ghosts or whatever, spoilers. But like the way they're acting, they're like, okay, we're gonna live here. This is such a cool house to live.
They're all talking about how like, wow, this house is so beautiful. It's not.
It's not.
No.
It's a bunch of hallways with glass walls.
It would make a cool building for something else, some kind of museum or something. I would not want this to be my house. It is not very homey or cozy at all.
Whatever.
It's very strange. But yeah, so they split up. Lillard makes his way down into the basement, and I wrote here, Lillard's going to be the final girl for sure, right?
100%.
He's got to be. Actually, I think this was before he did Scooby-Doo, so he actually wasn't as big before this movie had come out. I think Scooby-Doo came out in like 2002.
He did Scooby-Doo.
He did Scooby-Doo.
That's gross.
No, not like don't be dumb. Don't be gross. So he's down shut up, I swear to God. He's down in the basement having another one of those, oh, my head hurts because the ghosts are around. And Derek made a funny comment. He's like, damn it, Voldemort is near me. Because that's another good way to describe the vibe of what's going on in here.
There's so much energy coming from Matthew Lillard.
But I don't
want any of it.
Yeah, but he's getting like glimpses of like all of the ghosts down there. So we get literally, it seems like it's like 12 distinct little like, oh, there's a flash of a ghost. Oh, there's a flash of another one. It like goes 12 times. We get about 12 of these different ghosts. I remember, like, what was I saying to you? It's like the equivalent of, like, oh, it's your 12th birthday, gotta get your 12 spankings, you know? That's kind of what it felt like.
I mean, there were even times where it seemed like he literally got spanked, right? With how he was acting as he was walking through this hall.
Like, here's the 12 ghosts down here. You gotta go through your 12 flashes of ghosts for some reason.
Gosh, it was a lot.
And so we see our first one, like, in front of him. And it's kind of, they give this cool, like watery effect, like the way light reflects off of water, like in the enclosure, because they're all in their own glass boxes. And this place is just a menagerie of ghosts.
Really is.
So it's just like one hallway with a ton of ghost boxes. So that's the entirety of the basement. And I assume that's what Lillard wanted to go down there to look for, right?
Oh, yeah.
And, oh man, there was a glimpse.
Oh, no.
This large man dressed as a baby with like throw up down his chin and on his baby bib. And then this small woman who was like feeding food to him, and Derek could not stop laughing.
It was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
It was, he actually went back to like analyze it. He's like, hold on, I had to go see that.
Hold on, what was that? Was my like exact.
It was terrifying. I hated it. But yeah,
I also hated it, for the record.
So Lillard, who we find out his name is something Rafkin. I remember his last name. So Rafkin, he comes clean to the others he comes clean to Moss, the lawyer, and then Arthur about like, okay, I'm a liar. I'm not actually a power man. I worked with your uncle. I helped him hunt, spiritual entities, paranormal beings. You don't understand what I'm saying? Okay, I'll simplify it. Ghosts! I don't know why he didn't just say ghosts the first time.
Goats?
Yes! That's right! Because he's so stupid. Oh, that was one of the cheesiest lines where Matthew Lillard is like, I helped your uncle hunt ghosts. And he says, goats? Like,
goats?
What the hell?
It's like the stupidest way to make someone not a believer of ghosts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
Yeah, exactly. So like clearly it's like, okay, so this guy doesn't believe in
this
ghosts.
guy's a non-believer.
But I would compare it to, there's a line in the Muppets from Space where where there's a bit where one of the CIA guys is talking to the bear Muppet. And he says, bring me the remote. And the Muppet goes, the goat? He actually says the goat too.
That's right.
He turns around and is like, the remote.
Oh, that's
so like
funny.
that is the level of joke we're working with here.
That's hilarious.
So he's trying to convince them, hey, there's ghosts in this house. You need to not live here, right? They're not really buying it too much. Meanwhile, Maggie finds glasses. They're just like scattered throughout the house. They're just random pairs of glasses.
Again, it's chilling. A D&D campaign.
Yeah. That would make kind of a good, I like that actually. You should do that.
The DM like strategically placed these glasses, but didn't give them enough.
So yeah, Nanny found the glasses, so she's got some of those. Rafkin is owed a lot of money. That's why he's in here. And then
the old man Cyrus didn't pay him all of his dues.
Exactly. So I think that's why he's in here. And then he starts having a bit of an episode, and then Arthur touches him. And then we get flashes of what happened to his wife, because we didn't get that in the opening sequence. They just talked about it. And then it's just like a bunch of quick shots of fire, and then a woman standing in the middle of the screen with like half her face burned, which looks fine, but it was kind of a lot for me to handle all at once, which I guess...
It was very quick.
I think they wanted it to feel like how it feels for Rafkin to experience this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was weird to me.
I kind of appreciate that. Yeah. I mean, it'd be kind of overwhelming.
Mm-hmm. So then the suit goes downstairs. He's like, oh, great. This guy knows he's onto one of our stuff, right? So he goes down and he puts on some of these glasses. The glasses look like something that would be in like a Dimension Spy Kids movie.
I was thinking the same thing.
Like that is the kind of tech design that we're working
I feel like
with.
when I went to the theater as a kid and saw Spy Kids 3D and got the cool glasses and put them on my face, that was the same vibe.
That is exactly the vibe of these glasses that we're working with right now.
Incredible.
But yeah, so he goes and he picks up a suitcase that is just full of money. He's like, not bad for an hourly wage. And then I literally wrote, like, greed is going to fuck everyone up. This is all going to happen. Because when he picks up that suitcase, some mechanism starts working, right? Like they were expecting this. And then here comes our first ghost. And that's a lot of boob, let me tell you.
Oh, yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, it's a lady who has some, like, lacerations all over her. Her hair is wet, and then she's just, like, fully topless. And it seems like they did everything in their power to get as much of her boobs in this movie as they could. Yeah, it's kind of distracting, honestly.
It really was.
Like, listen, I'm a man who enjoys a boob. That's great. That's fine.
Just one, though.
Just a single boob. But it's like... It was actually distracting. I'm like, I feel like the way the camera is being utilized, like it wants me to just be focused on that, honestly.
Yeah.
And so she starts walking towards him because she's been released from her containment thing, right? He's got the glasses, we can see her. And then he starts backing away from her. And then a door, like this sliding glass door, slides through him as he's backing away from it, completely in the center of him.
Yeah.
So he gets cut in half,
cool.
but not the way you think. Not from the waist. We're talking like
full body length.
I guess if we're talking like
head to toe.
If being cut in half is hamburger style, this is hot dog style, head to toe cut in half, right?
That's very funny.
You get me?
That's very.
Does that work?
That's very good.
You giving me this look? That's
very good.
That tracks. That totally works.
That's great. I loved it. But wait, it's like sideways hot dog.
I guess you're right. But the effect was insane. I actually really liked it. There's some nasty blood and gore in this clean cut because he just sits there and then his body starts to slowly slide down the front half and you can see the exposed flesh of his back half. You see his brain and it looks all sticky. Like it was really good, actually.
It was very good.
And this bit looks really nice.
It felt like realistic to what would actually happen if this happened. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We need Mythbuster just to do a sliding door on it.
Honestly, though, but it was really cool. I really like that kill effect. So yeah, he's dead now. So then we get shots more of like I don't even remember her name. I wrote it down later. Kathy, the daughter. She's upstairs in like what would be like her bedroom, I guess, going through the cabinets in the bathroom. Like, oh yay, what a pretty bathroom. Guess what? In there's another pair of glasses. And there was actually kind of a neat effect that I thought would be really cheesy, but I actually really liked it. The camera goes through the glasses, so we get kind of a POV shot.
Oh, I loved that.
Yeah, of like what it would look like if you were looking through the glasses, which she wasn't. Yeah, exactly. So you would see through the glasses, the room she's in, the bathroom is covered in blood. Yes. All over the place there's blood. But she can't see any of it, right? Because she doesn't have the glasses on. And it was kind of a neat way to be like, okay, the audience needs to see this without putting the glasses on.
Yeah.
And it's a really good way of kind of going against what you said, right? Like, it doesn't break its own rules. We are still looking through the glasses.
Yeah.
Through that POV
It was
shot.
like it tried to not break a rule.
Yeah, exactly.
And I really appreciate it.
Which I really like. It establishes that there will be some shots where we as an audience can see things that they can't, right? Which I really enjoyed.
It was
cool.
Yeah,
so she's walking through here. I thought they were building decent tension throughout this. Like, it's shots of her going through the bathroom, she goes over to the tub of the bathroom. She's like splashing her face in it like she's in some acne commercial.
So
her acting is something, though.
There was, every time it showed her for the first half of this, she was staring in the window, staring in the mirror, playing with one strand of hair on her face. One strand. She wasn't fixing her hair.
Nope.
She wasn't doing her makakeup. She wasn't washing her hands.
Over and over. She's playing with this one strand.
Small little piece of hair.
Yeah. There's also one shot where she first walked into her bedroom, and it's like a slow motion shot of her like panning around the room looking. She's got the widest eyes, the biggest grin. It's like she just took shrooms and they finally hit.
Yeah, that's
it's like
we were riffing on that.
It's like, what did I say? It was like, man, I don't think these edibles are doing anything
Whoa.
That was the vibe of the way she looked around the room.
Oh my gosh.
It was very funny to me.
But that was like the vibe that she had for the like rest of this scene too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It
was very funny.
So bad.
So she's in the bathtub and the naked ghost is in there and she's looking at her, she's about ready to swipe at her, and then I think Arthur comes in? No, maybe Maggie, because someone comes in and is like, hey, someone comes in, they're like, hey, what are you doing in this room? She's like, oh, I was just checking out the bathroom, haha. And then they find out they lost the kid, Bobby. Bobby's gone. Yeah, he disappeared somewhere, somehow. And then, of course, he didn't get got yet, but they just lost him. He goes by the basement, and the voice of the ghost kid, there's a kid down there, like a little kid in like this Indian costume, he had an arrow through his head. He's down there and he starts calling out to him like, oh, okay, of course the ghost kid is going to call out to the kid. That makes sense. And it was at this point that Derek and I actually said the opposite things as each other, where I said, I'm really digging the ghost effects. They had this cool like audio mixing that happened that made it sound really echoey and weird. Sometimes you could see them, sometimes you couldn't. It was kind of like they would come in and out of existence, right? Derek hated it.
It was just, for me personally, it kept flashing the ghosts on and off the screen very quickly, which I can appreciate that. I think that's cool in like the sense that like you can't see them all the time. But it was so jarring, most of the time it took me out of it, personally.
Yeah, and that was one thing I say. I will side with people that are like the strobe effects of certain things were a bit much, because I can't agree. It's just like, for me, it felt like, a good way to establish these as like supernatural entities, right? Because again, if they were just standing there in the doorway, that would make them feel more like what my expectation was, or like they feel like just people, right? Not like ghosts. Well, but I can say it definitely was a bit much often.
And I felt like part of my issue again is that like when they had their glasses on, they were still flashing in and out.
Yes.
And it didn't make any sense for the rule, right? Going back to that, like if they have the glasses on, they should be able to see the ghosts all the time.
Exactly.
They shouldn't appear and disappear. But they were doing that for the sake of the viewer, not for the sake of their rules, I think. And it just took me out of it. I didn't like it.
It was strange. But so they find out they've been trapped inside this house now. They've been locked in. They try to slam it with a chair, and unfortunately it's made with that chair-proof glass.
Darn chair-proof glass.
Shouldn't have got that chair-proof glass. I knew it was a mistake. And then we get another one of those like scary movie type good jokes from Maggie where she goes, did the lawyer split? And it's funny because she don't even know.
But he split in half.
That's like clever.
A hot dog. Yeah.
And then I was kind of confused where like we get shots of the mechanism releasing more ghosts, and it seemed like they were releasing more than one at a time. I wasn't quite following it. It was such a quick thing. I don't know.
There wasn't any like rhyme or reason to it, honestly.
But I was enjoying the tone with the set of this movie. The color palette with it really works. Like the sets were impressive. They looked really nice, even though there were a bunch of walls with writing on them. Yeah. And we find out the writing on the walls are all containment spells, which I thought was really neat because that eliminates the possibility of the stereotypical ghost going through a wall.
Yeah.
So the entire house is made up of walls with these spells on them so that the ghost cannot go through walls, which is neat. I actually really like that effect.
I liked it too. I wish that the house wasn't made of glass though. It was just so hard to look at, and I wanted to enjoy it for what it was.
Yeah.
But I couldn't because it was glass.
Makes sense. But so the kid is down in the basement and he just sees most all of the ghosts in quick succession. There's one of this decapitated head that is just a torso that is just wrapped in plastic, like dragging its way towards him. It was pretty messed up. But he just sees all of these crazy ghosts and I'm like, this kid is going to need a lot of therapy after this. And then Derek made a stupid thing. He's like, don't wear the glasses and it won't be scary. That's what you said. And then someone is talking to Bobby through his radio. And it's like, you need to get out of here. It's not safe. Go upstairs. And we're like, okay, is this the ghost of his mom? And if that was the case, I was like, I'm into that idea. But does that mean she's here? Is she one of the 13 ghosts? Or is it like, is she just like following him? I don't really understand. But so they I think the kid gets, like, kidnapped. He's gone.
He literally just gets nabbed.
Yeah, exactly.
But we didn't see by what.
Mm-hmm, yeah. And so then they all decide, let's all look for the kid. Let's split up. And then Matthew Lillard, of all people, is like, no, we shouldn't split up. Like, yeah, he's using that Scooby-Doo thinking. Good going, Shaggy. We should not split up. Let's not do that.
For real.
Yeah, it's kind of stupid. Lillard's performance is not always incredibly believable. Derek, literally most times that Rafkin said a line, Derek was laughing at it because he didn't like the delivery.
I couldn't.
But I think he's a fun actor. I do enjoy Matthew Lillard beyond that too, right?
But like, I don't know. His performance in this movie was so fake to me. Yeah. It was so forced.
Mm-hmm. But then he gets a glimpse of like what's going to be his own death later on. I forget how that happened, but he sees what's going to be his own death later on in the movie. I was like, oh shit, maybe he's not going to be the final girl. But then they find Bobby's little recorder down in the basement, and he rewinds the tape. Arthur does, his dad records the tape. Then he just hears him screaming for his dad. I was like, wow, that's kind of fucked up.
So he starts freaking out. He's like, I need to save my son.
Mm-hmm. And then they get attacked by this ghost with this, like, their head is in this metal cage. Yeah. It was kind of a cool effect. I really liked the cage mask. And then it was at this point that I'm like, what could they even do to these ghosts? They have absolutely nothing. They are not equipped to fight the paranormal.
Yeah, of course.
And so they're going through here. It is established, like, all of them believe in the ghosts now, because I think the cage ghost attacks them when the daughter's like, Dad, you don't really believe in all of this, right? Come on, like, these ghosts, this is ridiculous. And then she gets attacked by a ghost.
Yeah, and her back gets all scratched. Oh, no, her boobs.
Yeah, that was another kind of dumb thing. She gets pushed up against the wall, and her shirt gets kind of shredded up, and you see her bra through it. And I'm like, I could have done without that. Just
it was so unnecessary.
I would have much rather seen like gore and have her be like slashed and stuff instead of just like, her shirt got tattered and there's boobs there now.
Perfectly, her boobs are there.
Yeah, But then Sigourney Weaver comes in and she's to the rescue.
Yeah, forget about her. Me too.
Yeah, right. I did too. She slipped in while the house was locking them all in or something like that. But then we were getting some fast cuts between a very high energy scene where they're getting attacked by the cage ghost, and then Rafkin and Maggie are doing their own thing where they're slowly trying to sneak around other ghosts. It's kind of strange to me.
It was so weird.
But this movie definitely wastes no time. Like, absolutely, it still has great pacing throughout the whole thing of it. And then Sigourney's job is freeing trapped souls like the ones that are here. That's the reason that she's in
PETA
this,
for
right?
ghosts.
Yeah, exactly. Where do we even go from here?
I mean, it's basically over.
I enjoy the fact that this movie, they give them 2 pairs of the glasses to share between all of them.
I also
which really I love rather than having, there was a perfect amount of glasses for everybody in this that's going to be in this house, right? I really enjoy that they all kind of have to like decide who's wearing them and when. I thought it was really neat.
I like that too.
Yeah. But then Sigourney has some sort of like Necronomicon with her for some reason. And here's, of course, the tropey like exposition dump from the paranormal expert. It's great. Here it all is. The house is a huge device built for the devil, powered by the dead, is why it needs the 12 ghosts that are trapped here. And so it's like, okay, wait a minute. So this movie's called 13 Ghosts. Why are there only 12 of them? She basically tells them that like you need 12 ghosts of different varieties to power this thing, and then the 13th ghost is like a fail-safe, right? She's basically like, okay, the reason it has to be the sacrifice of a person who willingly gives himself up if something goes wrong. Yeah, for love, right?
Yeah.
So where did I even write all of this? I don't even know where to go from here. I lost all of my notes because there's so much. I'm like, we don't have to cover all of this stuff, right?
But basically, she explains that that's what he was trying to do. He was like, it gives you a book or some sort of like ability to be like the most powerful person in the world if you complete the ritual. And then she tells him that in order to stop the ritual, someone has to sacrifice themselves for love on it, right?
Yep.
In like the pit or whatever.
So yeah, to save time, like there's just a lot of there's a couple sequences of them like trying to get away from the ghost. They all fight, and then they all meet up, and this is when we have this scene where she talks about like how this is why Cyrus was dealing with Rafkin, that's why they were friends, blah blah blah. So we find out that what Rafkin didn't tell him, the 4th ghost of the 12 is Arthur's wife. So she is here. She is one of the ghosts that was trapped here. And this is definitely one of those like meeting scenes where they put everything together, that kind of stuff.
It alludes to the fact that he killed her.
Yes, they didn't really dive that deep into it.
No.
But like, if she's here, I'm like, okay, does that mean Cyrus is the reason their house burned down? Like,
it definitely seemed that way.
It didn't really confirm that as the truth, but that's kind of what we walked away believing, right? But I actually really enjoyed the sequence of like they open this Necronomicon book and then they flash between every page is like, here's Ghost 1, it's this thing, right? Ghost 2, it's this thing. And then like it shows us the artwork in the book for them and then what the ghosts that they captured to make that. So there's like the angry princess, the baby and the mother, the lost lover, that kind of stuff, right? Which is like, thought it was kind of a really cool sequence. And the artwork for them in this Necronomicon book was so cool. I really liked it.
This whole like mythology was so underutilized, which is a shame because it was the best part of the movie.
Also, at some point when Sigourney Weaver showed up, Kathy, the daughter, is also just gone.
Oh yeah, she's
so now both the kids are missing.
Yeah.
So now it is just Sigourney Weaver's discount Sigourney Weaver. I don't remember her actual name. That's all I called her.
Shannon Elizabeth.
No, not her. So there was Discount Sigourney Weaver, Arthur, and then there was Shaggy and Maggie. There was the four of them, right? Shemaggie. So I actually really enjoy the way these characters are utilized together. They have very believable dynamics between the two of them. Like, for instance, Shaggy and Monk go on their way to, like, try to rescue the kid, right? They take off one of the panes of glass. Don't know how they did that, but they basically use it as a big shield against the ghost because they have spells on them, right? It's kind of a neat effect. But just the two of them working with each other, like having Arthur, who like doesn't really believe that much in ghosts, and then having Rafkin being like the kind of funny man. Like, I don't know, their dynamic was funny to me.
I liked them a lot,
and it really worked. I liked it a lot. But then, so they're going to try to find the kids, and then Sigourney Weaver's type, and then Maggie go to like this big core that we haven't mentioned. It's the cheesiest use of CGI in this. Is like it's as believable as
very obvious.
Yeah, it's as believable as it could be for 2001. Yeah. But it also looks like CGI you would find in like a Spy Kids movie, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Where it's just this like spinning mechanical machine of like giant fat gears and like these circles spinning around it. Like it's kind of a lot to look at, but they're there to blow it up, right? And then you see Cyrus pop up. You're like, oh no, he's the 13th ghost, right? And then Sigourney Weaver takes a book to the back of Maggie's head, knocks her out. Yep. And then they start kissing. I'm like, okay, wait. Okay. Well, hold on. All right. So they find out that, we find out, oh shit. So Discount Sigourney Weaver was actually working with Cyrus all along. This was part of their plan.
And the worst thing about this.
Yeah.
He's wearing makeup that is what he wore when he died.
Yeah, so he's got this gash in his neck.
You cannot tell if he faked his own death or if he is a ghost. Yes. It is so hard to tell. I think, still not sure, I'm pretty sure he was alive and faked his death.
Oh, definitely. I think that is what happened. But it is kind of, I don't know. It's not the most distinct thing that they tell you, but I think it makes it more known later on. But in this sequence, she's not wearing any glasses and she's having a conversation with him. She kisses him. So I'm like, okay, he must be dead. But then later on, certain things happen where I'm like, okay, hold on. Is he dead or not?
It was very hard to tell.
Because it would have taken a lot for him to fake his death with so many people around at that junkyard scene at the beginning, right?
Yeah. It was in such a gruesome way.
But yeah, while this is happening, Rafkin and Arthur are downstairs fighting this man who has rail spikes throughout all of his face. And then what they call the Juggernaut, who is the ghost they were fighting at the very beginning in the junkyard, right?
Yep.
And Rafkin gets taken, and the Juggernaut lifts him up in the air and just cracks him in half on the hinge of like a wall, like the corner, right?
Once
just
again,
snaps his back.
I gotta say, it looked like it might have felt good.
A little bit, right? A little bit.
Like, someone should pick me up and throw me against a corner of a wall.
But yeah, there goes our final girl theory for him. So,
he's dead.
Again, it's like, I'm not sure if Cyrus is really dead or not. And so it's like, oh, okay. So it seems like actually they were lying to Arthur. They used his wife as a way to get him to willingly sacrifice himself to the machine so it can work, not so it fails. So he's actually, he's actually the reason that it works. And so his kids are in jeopardy as like bait for that, right? Because throughout the whole thing, he's like, all I can think about are my kids, man. I need to get my kids out of here. He's very much like family man, right? Mm-hmm. And so they start playing these tapes, right? That make it so all of the ghosts basically get called to serve.
Yeah,
it's weird. Like they all just kind of take a couple steps back and then whoosh, they're just gone. They disappear. And it's kind of funny, like, they make it seem like Arthur is stuck against the wall between, like, the shield that he made. It was just leaning up against the wall. He was not stuck behind it.
Leaning.
Yeah, it was strange. But there is a moment where Cyrus is walking away from Discount Sigourney Weaver, and he traps her in this room, like the sliding glass door shuts behind him, and then she just gets squished into the wall. Yeah, and they showed a decent amount of it too. Like,
it was
she got kind of like squished up, and her eyes started to pop. Like, it was
brutal.
Didn't show everything, but it showed a lot more than I was expecting.
Absolutely.
So yeah, then we find out that we're in the middle of the house. The mechanism is whirring and spinning. There are the kids in the middle of this. They have this one little platform in the center of like these spinning gears slicing, like you can't get to them, right? And then it is like confirmed that Cyrus is alive because there's a bit where Arthur's piecing it all together. He counts all the ghosts because they're they're in this weird like hands across America like circle around the kids. Yeah, it was kind of strange. But he's like, hold on, there's this ghost and this ghost, hold on, what's happening? Who's the 13th? And then he turns and sees Cyrus there, and he slowly takes off his glasses, and then he doesn't disappear. Which I'm like, that would have been a cooler reveal had we not done the scene with Sigourney Weaver earlier, where like
she
was talking to him without glasses on, right?
Mm-hmm. This whole scene was very muddled. Yeah, like, the movie kind of came to a screeching halt here, which is really the opposite of what a climax should do.
Yeah, right? But it was kind of strange. So yeah, he gets pissed at him. He's like, I'm going to kill you. So he actually gets a couple good punches in on Cyrus. Then he starts knocking him down too. He's like, I'm going to kill you. Here's a sword that's inside my cane.
Yep.
Yeah, but then Maggie to the rescue, because I kind of forgot about her. She's basically playing DJ at like the soundboard for these tapes. It starts going like, because it's like, like it's so weird.
So
it makes like record scratching noises, but she's just moving like faders up and down. Yeah. That's not the effect that would happen. It was so strange to me. But it messes up the ritual. And then all of the ghosts are suddenly out of the trance. They come to Cyrus, and I'm like, oh yeah, fuck him up. Get him. Get Cyrus. Yeah. He's the reason you guys are here in the first place. And they just throw him into this big Hadron Collider thing that just slices him to bits.
Yep. His head flies at the camera.
It was kind of fun, but not as satisfying as I wanted it to be. No. Yeah, his head does fly straight at the camera.
It doesn't help that we thought he was dead the whole movie, so then we just like see him die again. We're like, okay. Well.
I guess we did kind of get that Scooby-Doo ending where you take the mask off, like, old man Cyrus.
Old man Cyrus, you weren't dead.
Oh, you know me, I wasn't dead after all.
He kind of was the 13th ghost the whole time. We predicted it.
He did end up being the 13th ghost in a sense, right?
Oh, wait, no, Matthew Lillard technically.
Oh, yeah, Matthew Lillard did die. I forget about that. But yeah, so what's funny is they throw him into the slicer, and then like the kids are in the center of that, so they must be like covered in this guy's blood for some reason.
Yeah, but they weren't.
Yeah, but then it blows up. I forgot about the dynamite that they had placed. They actually...
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember how that successfly goes off, because I don't think Sigourney Weaver...
Wait, no, yeah, Maggie did it.
Maggie must have done it somehow.
Maggie did it, and then we were like mad because she wasn't dying.
Yeah, because she was in the room with the dynamite. It all blows up. There's this big dynamite explosion. There's a bit where Arthur is trying to run into the platform in the middle, because there's this bit, all the gears are spinning, and they stop in the middle for a second. Yeah. And then they'll go again. So, like, he times it perfectly, so he jumps in the middle with them.
He should play video
But then
games.
Where's he going to go? Now what?
Yeah.
No, I don't understand that, right? So then everything's exploding. I'm like, okay, Maggie must be dead. They gotta die. The whole house explodes. And then, oh no, it's okay. For some reason, I missed the very center of this house. I don't understand how. And then also, beyond that, Maggie's alive too.
Yep.
I don't really get that. But then we get a shot of like all the ghosts walking away. The ghosts get to walk home free. Yeah. They're just like walking into the forest and slowly disappearing.
While this whole thing is happening, you see the ghost of Matthew Lillard. He's just standing there cleaning his glasses.
Just sitting there cleaning his pair of glasses the entire time you see him, right?
I have a theory. Mm-hmm. Okay, I said that. Sorry. I have a theory. My theory is that Matthew Lillard was standing there watching them film and was happy about it and cleaning his glasses. And then they just caught a shot of it and they're like, we could use that.
I think that's something. We could use that.
Wait, we could have him come back as a ghost.
That's something there. But so they didn't die, which I'm like, I mean, sure, it's movie magic. They got plot armor, whatever. And then they see the ghost of the mom, and she's not all burnt up anymore. She looks beautiful, just like how she died, you know? Yep. And then I thought it was a poor choice to do this. They're looking at her, and then she has some voiceover saying, like, I love you, I'll always be with you, something like that, right? But it was a weird effect to have her there and not speak and just have this voiceover happen. It made it feel kind of cheesy. Yeah, it's strange. But then, we find out Maggie's alive, and she just gives some stupid comedic ending like, oh no, I'm out of here, I quit, I'm over this, and then the movie ends. It
was so dumb.
Strange.
That was it.
Yeah, so that's 13 Ghosts.
And in 13 Ghosts, we had 17 jump scares. Which was so many.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And they were all what you would expect, right?
Yeah, really.
Ghost on the screen, someone grabbing someone's arm or something.
Yeah.
12 deaths in this
12
movie.
deaths.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
So we had 3 in the house, then the rest of them were all at the top.
Yeah, that's true. And that guy that got snapped in half, that kind of stuff.
What were your expectations?
My expectations ended up. I said it was going to be good makeup, but the coolest would be in the trailer. I actually thought the makeup designs all around were really great and also unique. I feel like there were some cool surprises in there. I didn't feel like they gave me everything in the trailer. While I feel like they probably gave a flash of every ghost throughout the trailer, I felt like there was still enough to see in the movie as well. I thought I would like the ghosts, but there wouldn't be enough lore. I mean, yes, they all seem to have such deep stories to them, and we didn't get any of it in the movie whatsoever, besides looking at them and making up your own, right? I thought there'd be more than one ghost at a time. Yes, I think it got kind of muddled, so I'm not sure. It felt like would feel like a 2000s movie. Yeah, it definitely felt like 100%. A 2000s movie with the acting, the script writing, the music choices especially made it feel like it was a 2000s. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just felt that way, right? And then, finally, I thought the ghosts would look spooky, but don't actually act like ghosts. I was honestly, it went back and forth between having them just act like people and just, attack people with their hands. And then there were some times having them do something that a paranormal entity would do, right?
Yeah.
Because the very beginning, there are people being flung all over the place, right? But then sometimes it's they would literally just pick up Matthew Lillard and crack his back across something, right?
Right, yeah.
Some surprises for me, it really was not that terrible. The writing and the dialogue could be pretty corny, but they were still fun. They were believable characters, and their relationships and their motivations made sense between each other. I didn't think there was anybody that was particularly unbelievable in this movie.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like there were any ghosts that felt like there were throwaway effects in it. The bottom of the bowl kind of stuff. I felt like every one of the ghosts felt thought out, and they've had the practical effects to back them up. I think, thankfully, the baby one wasn't utilized a lot, but I still feel like that was a thought out character.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm glad that one wasn't used because it grossed me out, but they still utilized it well. Not a lot of it was that tropey, honestly, which I was really surprised about being a ghost movie from the 2000s. It all felt pretty original and pretty organic to the scene, right?
Yeah.
I really liked the use of spells on the walls again so that they couldn't travel between them. I thought that was a really smart and original idea. I haven't really seen that in anything else, And then the physical look of the movie is great. There were well-designed sets and good tones with the color palette, so that was another really good thing for me.
Yeah.
What about you? What are your expectations?
So 13 stories that are really cool but let down. Yeah, 12 stories. They just weren't even the movie. I made the comment that for a movie about 13 ghosts, I really didn't get much of the ghosts. They were kind of just used as a means to an end, right? Mm-hmm. And when I went into this movie, I was expecting a movie about the ghosts, not about someone trying to use the ghosts.
Right.
Tony Shalhoub being cringy and having weak performance. Actually, complete opposite. I thought his performance was great. I thought that he made a great lead dad believable character.
Honestly, though.
He did smart things. He wasn't an idiot character, which was really nice. Mm-hmm. Cheesy effects? No, actually, I thought it all worked pretty well.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Except for the flashing of the ghosts. But other than that...
Yeah, other than that, not as cheesy as you would expect.
Yeah, the practical effects were very good.
Very good. I'd say it deserves that award that it got.
A movie that doesn't follow its own rules? Kind of, but not really. It didn't establish enough rules to really even meet that. And then really forced jump scares, absolutely. Every jump scare was just I feel like we're at the point now where jump scares just go over our heads.
Honestly, though, there was one thing that happened and you were like, was that supposed to be a jump scare? I don't even remember.
Yeah, it was so dumb.
Yeah.
Surprises? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was actually fun. Yeah, I had a great time.
Very fun.
I felt like it did come screeching to a halt at the end, but it wasn't painful for me to get through. I thought the pacing was great. I thought it kept going really well. The monster design made me want to learn more. The ghost design made me want to learn more about the ghosts. Yes. I only really hated one character, and that was the daughter, and she was barely in it, so it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Which again was great. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a great time. And honestly, I think this is one of those movies that I would actually recommend.
Yeah, I would honestly recommend that. I feel like that's one that's I don't know if this belongs on our podcast. I thought it was fairly good. So is that all your surprises?
That is it.
So so let's jump into our verdict. For me, Horrorble. Absolutely. Great ghosts, great kills you weren't expecting, a fun story. I'm here for it. Yeah. I had a pretty good time with this one.
What about you? I'm right there with you. Mm-hmm. Horrorble. I think that this... again, is one of those movies that falls right into that definition because, yes, it is not, by technical standards, a great movie. Yeah. There are a lot of things that aren't good about it. Mm-hmm. But it is enjoyable. It's funny. for not the right reasons, but it is funny. And yeah, it was just a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. Boo!
Oh, there he is. You know, hey, Count
it is
Trivia.
me. No, I am not Count Trivia. I am Count Boovula. Ooh.
That is disgusting.
That name is not very great, is it? I admit that is a very bad one.
Okay, I'm not even going to
I'll go back to it. How's that one?
There you are. I was going to ask who's been feeding you.
I feed myself. You do not need to worry about when I'm getting the feeding.
I'm worried about Jim.
You do not need to get worried about the feeding.
Have you been feeding Jim?
Jim has been very kind to me. What can I say?
Why does he have bite marks on his neck?
Here is some trivia. Thank you. Goodbye. So in the movie, the characters need special glasses to see the ghosts. In the original 13 Ghosts from 1960, like I mentioned earlier, viewers, the people watching the movie, needed special glasses to see the ghosts. This is one of the few details from the original that was kept, which was actually a really neat effect. In the original movie, it was black and white until the sequences with the ghost. They would cover the whole thing in blue, and then the ghosts were in like this red effect added on top of that. So if you looked at it through like one half of those like 3D filter glasses, right, you could either see the ghost or not see the ghost, right? Which I thought was really cool.
I love that.
But yeah, I thought it was neat that they actually kept that from the original. Mm-hmm. Warner Brothers and Dark Castle Entertainment originally planned to release this film in 3D and carry over the gimmick from the original 13 Ghosts, where viewers needed the glasses to see the ghost, but they scrapped the idea, which I thought, I'm like, that would have been kind of cool.
That would have been awesome.
The effect for the torso, which was the body wrapped in plastic that was decapitated, was achieved using a double amputee wearing a special black hood that could be used to digitally remove the head, which I thought was kind of neat. So yeah, they used like an actual torso guy, I guess, right?
Cool.
Yeah, it's kind of neat. Cool, like, to get work for that, I guess, right?
Yeah. I mean, utilize your skills.
Take a guess. Of the 12 ghosts, the creature makeup created for the film, which of the ghosts required the longest time to apply?
Mommy and Child Baby.
Mommy and Child Baby? Is that really your guess?
I don't know, probably the one with, like, rail spikes in his head.
You would think, right? You would think. He's not even the second. The one that took the most time to apply was actually the naked one, the Angry Princess. Which I guess makes sense, because like the others wore clothes to cover a lot. She was like a full body makeup thing, right? Because she had the lacerations all over her, right?
Everywhere.
Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I kind of get that. And then I think right behind her was also the Juggernaut, which also surprised me. He was just like mostly a corpse.
A guy.
Yeah, I really thought it was going to be the rail spike guy, but no, it wasn't him. So yeah. Speaking of which, that character's known as the Hammer. Herbert Duncanson was the name of him. Was not originally hired as an actor for the film. He was actually hired as a stand-in for reference and test shots. Oh. But when the original actor cast for the role never showed up,
what?
He was given the role of that ghost as a last-minute replacement. Oh,
he's like, I want the pot.
There was no time to hold last-minute auditions to recast it, so they're just like, sure, you can do it. So yeah, he wasn't intended to do that.
Crazy.
Here's her name. Kalina was the name of the Sigourney Weaver knockoff. Her death, where she was crushed between the two glass panels, was originally much gorier, with shots of like her eyes popping out and her brain squirting out. Whoa. It was cut down to the end as the director Steve Beck feared such a gory death would earn the film an NC-17 rating, which, I mean, it probably would have. F. Murray Abraham, old man Cyrus, stated he only did the film for money.
Okay.
Which is kind of sad.
That is sad.
And then, to close it out here, just the 12 ghosts which make up the fictional Black Zodiac, as they call it, all have their own unique backstory. Although these stories were not described in the film, on the DVD, the production and makeup teams explained their guidelines. All of the ghosts were retained in glass prisons, and Dennis's psychic ability and Cyrus's resources are used to catch them. So Cyrus narrates each ghost's backstory in the DVD thing. So actually, like, for the makeup team to have enough to go off of, every unique ghost, all 12 of them have their own stories. Yeah. And like, do we have the time? We can go through them if you want.
Let's go through them.
We have them written down here.
Feel free to leave if you want, but you shouldn't, because these stories are really cool.
It's kind of incredible how deep all of these lore go. Every single one of them has a story.
And you don't have to have seen the movie to get these. We'll just redo the stories.
Here it is.
So,
do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. The first one is The Firstborn Son, played by Michael Spidell. Billy Michaels was a young boy who loved pretending to be a cowboy. One day, another little kid challenged Billy to a duel, but Billy's cap gun was no match for the boy's real steel-tipped arrow that Billy's ghost still carries.
In his head.
Unlike most of the ghosts, this one is a mild threat, never attacking anyone and just saying, I want to play. So yeah. He had an arrow through his head.
Yeah. which is, like, wild to me. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So here's the torso, played by Daniel Wesley. Jimmy, the gambler Gambino, was a gambler in the early 1900s who caught the attention of the mafia. After he lost a boxing bet and didn't have the money to pay up, the mafia cut him to pieces and wrapped him in cellophane, dumping the remains in the ocean. His ghost appears as a torso with a severed head nearby and is a more neutral spirit than actively hostile.
The Bound Woman, played by Laura Menel, Susan LeGros was the richest girl in town and was very popular. Her one flaw was she toyed with boys and men. During her senior prom night, she was killed by a jilted ex named Chet Walters, a star quarterback.
Bastard.
After catching her cheating her with another guy. Her ghost lures Bobby into dangerous basement and still shows in her prom attire, bound ropes holding her arms. So yeah, she was like gagging and choking when we saw her. She was just a woman in a dress.
We didn't see a lot of her.
No, I think we saw her like twice.
And then there is the Withered Lover, played by Katherine Anderson. Jean Kritikos was a happy and devoted wife and mother. She died as a result of fire injuries at St. Luke's. Okay, so this is the wife, right?
Yeah.
St. Luke's Hospital half a year before the events of the film began. Unlike most of the ghosts, she is not dangerous. She is benevolent.
The Torn Prince, played by Craig Olajnik.
And this is kind of like a greaser-style guy who had a baseball bat.
Yeah. Royce Clayton was a gifted and famous teenage baseball player in the 1950s who caught the eye of colleges around the USA. He died in a drag race, thanks to his challenger, a greaser who cut his brake lines.
Ooh.
His remains are still buried at the baseball diamond, and his ghost carries his baseball bat. Yeah, he used that baseball bat a lot. He would just like hit it against walls.
Yeah, exactly. Then there's the Angry Princess, played by Shauna Lawyer, who was the nude one. Dana Newman was a beautiful but abused lady who lived in the late 20th century. She had plastic surgeries to alter her perceived flaws, and after a botched experiment that mutilated her eye, she brutally killed herself in a bathtub at the clinic. Her ghost is bloody, naked, and carries the same knife she used to commit suicide. Ooh, that's rough.
The Pilgrimess, played by Xantha Radley, Isabella Smith came to North America as a colonist in order to find her new life after being an orphan in England. The tight-knit community ostracized and ignored her and used her as a scapegoat, being accused of witchcraft when crops of animals and animals mysteriously died. She denied such accusations, but she was trapped in a burning barn. She managed to escape unharmed. That sealed her fate, and she died of starvation after being condemned to the pillory that she carries with her as a ghost. Her skin is badly damaged. A pillory is like one of those things that you put your arms
through.
Like the
stockade kind of thing, but like you carry around with you.
Yeah.
Oh, Derek, don't make me read this one, Derek. The Great Child, played by C. Ernst Harth, who's the big baby. Harold Shelburne was a mentally disabled man who never outgrew diapers and had to be spoon-fed even as a fully grown adult. He often made baby sounds. After being mocked, teased, and tormented relentlessly all his life, he caused a massacre at the old freak show where he and his mother, Margaret Shelburne, lived. Ooh, this is dark.
This is sad.
Some of the freaks had kidnapped and killed his mother as a joke one night. Oh, God.
What?
The circus owner, Jimbo, fuck that. Jimbo had Harold mutilated beyond recognition. Oh, God.
What the
His
hell?
ghost appears as Harold did in his life, has a small patch of hair, a bib covered in vomit, and cloth diapers. He still holds the axe that he used to kill his enemies.
That
was a lot more than I was expecting for that character.
Yeah. And then the dire mother.
The mom, yeah.
Played by Laurie Soper. Margaret Shelburne, Harold's mother, was a shy little lady, standing 3 feet tall. She never could stand up for herself. At the freak show where she lived, she was raped by the tall man. Oh my God.
No.
She was raped by the tall man, another circus freak, and gave birth to her illegitimate son, Harold, whom she loved more than herself. She smothered and spoiled him from infancy and never stopped as he grew. This is the main reason for Harold's mental handicap. The two were abused to the point where Harold killed almost the entire circus after Margaret died.
Wow.
As ghosts, they remain together, with Harold being protective. Like the torso, she is not aggressive and is more of a neutral spirit.
Wowee. God, that one got dark.
Okay, why did the one that bothered me the most end up being the worst one?
Yeah, that's terrible.
I don't know. We're not done yet.
We'll see. We still got 3 more. So here's the Hammer, played by Herbert Duncanson, who was not originally supposed to play it. A happy and honest family man and blacksmith, George Markley, was falsely accused of stealing healing by a higher-up named Nathan, and threatened with exile from their old western town. George refused to leave, and his family was lynched by Nathan and his band of thugs while walking home from the town market one day. Seeking justice in a corrupt town, George took his blacksmith hammer and killed those responsible. But the townsfolk chained him to a tree and drove railroad spikes into his body. Oof. His left hand was cut off and his hammer was crudely attached to it. How did I miss that?
Whoa.
He had a hammer for a hand? His ghost...
Did he, though?
I guess so. His ghost is one of the more angry spirits and is partially responsible for Dennis's death.
The Jackal, played by Shane Weiler. Born to a prostitute in 1887, Ryan Kuhn developed a sick appetite for women, attacking and raping strays and prostitutes in the night.
Lord. These last three are it seems like they're increasingly getting more hostile.
Yeah, definitely. He voluntarily went to Boreham Wood Institute for treatment to cure his problem. But the medical practices made him much worse, causing him to go completely insane after years of solitary confinement, having his head locked in a cage after breaking out of his straitjacket, and developing hatred of humanity. When the asylum burst into flame, he chose to stay behind to perish in the fire. His ghost carries his torn straitjacket with the torn cubic head cage. It is a sign of hell's winter. He's one of the more aggressive and violent ghosts, attacking and nearly killing Kathy before Kalina saves her. Crazy. I thought that was a woman the entire time.
I thought so too until I read this just barely. Yep. But, who knows? And then finally we have the Juggernaut, played by John DeSantis. Horace Breaker Mahoney was born very disfigured and was an outcast his entire life. His mother abandoned him at a tender age, and his dad put him to work in the junkyard, using his unusual strength to crush cars. I feel like there are machines that can do that.
Yeah.
After his dad died, Horace went insane. He would take out motorists and hitchhikers, tear them apart with his bare hands, and feed the remains to his dogs. Ooh. After several of these murders, he was arrested. A SWAT team shot and killed him when he broke free of his handcuffs. As a ghost, he remained at the junkyard with his body riddled with bullet holes, killing intruders. Both Dennis and Cyrus remarked that his kill count numbered in the 40s, making his ghost one of the most evil and dangerous of the 12.
Dang.
That is nuts. But that's insane to go this deep into things that we never learned through the movie. Right? That's the most useful behind the scenes info I've ever had. That's
for
incredible.
Sure. That's awesome.
So, Derek, it was your turn to choose around this time. So what is our next movie that we will be watching?
Yeah, so I was in the mood for something worse. I feel like we've watched a couple good movies, so we're going
kind of
watch some bad
right?
movies.
Let's get back to our roots.
So we're going to be watching I Know Who Killed Me from 2007,
starring the wonderful Lindsay Lohan. So let's see how that goes.
Yeah, I've been wanting to see this one for a while. Apparently, it's pretty bad. So
so that's pretty exciting.
Jump into that. So yeah, we're back.
We're back. The boys are back.
The boys are back in town. Hey, Isaac, I just put on these weird glasses that I found on the floor, and
is he right behind me?
He's right behind you.
Okay, everyone, don't move. We're gonna walk away now and hope that this goes. No, God!
Goodbye.